Overreactions are a lot of fun, and when you're only 3 games into the season, you're going to get a lot of them. Focusing on just the Brewers, here are 3 overreactions, all positive, might I add, from the opening weekend against the White Sox. Pat Murphy mentioned it at the beginning of the year, but David Hamilton is already taking that quantum leap. When they signed Rengifo, I was almost certain that he was going to be the main guy at third base. And to start out, it looks like that is Hamilton's spot. And overall, I'm not against it because he does everything you want as a Milwaukee Brewer. The speed is some of the best in the game. He's making a lot of contact a lot. And yeah, you're not going to get 20 homers out of the guy. And that's completely fine because he does everything else that you want. I was really questioning the duo at third base. If it was Hamilton, if it was Rengifo, if they're going to go with Jett Williams, whatever it was a big question mark and a concern to start the year. But already, I feel really comfortable with Hamilton there most days. And then how about Hamilton's friend on the left side of the infield, Joey Ortiz, already looks like a completely different player, and I mean that in the best way possible. Yeah, it's hard to sugarcoat what happened last year. He was a black hole at the plate. Defensively, still one of the better shortstops in the game, and he's already continuing that again this year. No questions with the defense at all. But at the plate, he's already had a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position, and he's delivered at a lot of times that he would not have last year. And the approach altogether looks different. He looks a lot more locked in, and I trust him to be that shortstop. And I'll even come out and say he's going to make it really hard for any of these guys to be called up because you know the logjam down there in the middle infield. If it's Cooper Pratt, if it's Jett Williams, heck, if we even see Jesus Made sometime this year, whatever it might be, he's going to block all those guys at least for 2026. And then lastly, somebody that was not projected to be on this roster at all when we entered spring training, Brandon Lockridge, the spring train MVP, or at least one of them with Rick Bowers and Andrew Vaughn. But Lockridge is going to be much more than just oh yeah, that guy was good in spring training. I saw a lot of comparisons to Vinny Capra last year, simply as in, oh yeah, this guy was great in spring training, he forced his way on the team, and he's going to be off the team really quickly. I don't think so. We have to remember Capra, and I'm not trying to throw a stray at the guy here. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he did force his way on the team because of how great of a sprint train he had. But overall, there was no investment in on him at all. And I'm not saying we have a huge investment in on Lockridge either, but at the time, they still traded, I think, a solid asset in Nestor Cortez, and at the time, one of the top international free agent sign-ins to get Brandon Lockridge from the Padres. They didn't trade nothing to get him, even if it wasn't a huge blockbuster move. So they did like him to some degree and did figure for him to be some part of the team last year and to see him sometime this year too, which we already did. And yeah, obviously when everyone's healthy, it's going to be Chiriot, Frelick, and Mitchell out there, and Perkins will be back down in AAA. I love Perkins, but Lockridge, I think, can be and already is a better version of Blake Perkins. And yes, obviously when everyone's healthy, the outfield's going to be Chiriot, Mitchell, and Frelick out there, and Yelich can make some appearances, whatever, right? And Lockridge will not be an everyday starter, but just because you're not starting every day does not mean he can't be a big contributor to this team one way or the other. I think he's a better version of Blake Perkins because once Chiriot's back, obviously Blake Perkins is going to be sent back down, which hurts me because I love Blake Perkins. Murphy loves Blake Perkins, love what he brings to this team, but you can't, there's just not a role for him when all these outfielders are healthy. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lockridge has a moment or two this year where it's like, damn, I'm really happy we have this guy on the roster. Heck of an opening weekend. Yes, it is the White Sox. Call it what you want, but it is a major league team. Other teams played some overall teams that weren't supposed to be very good, and look what happened to them. Every game's tough. It is Major League Baseball. They did their job. They came back. They had their blowouts. They did everything you could possibly want for these first 3 games. I'm happy with how it started, and I hope all these bold overreactions come true. Appreciate y'all watching. Go Brewers.